It's time to talk about the biggest scandal in football history, the Balon D'Or. The Balon D'Or is supposed to be the most illustrious award for an individual to win, but its history is very shady. From giving awards to the wrong players to cancelling over jealousy and corruption, the Balon D'Or is the most controversial award in sports history. I will also be sharing my opinion on why Lewandowski should have 2 Balon d'Ors instead of 0. The Balon d'Or, for those of you who don't know, is an annual award given to the supposed best player in a calendar year. However, we all know that isn't the case. Let's run through how the Balon d'Or is decided. According to many websites, the Balon d'Or is decided by 180 journalists from around the world, all these being from different countries. They are to choose 5 players from a 30-man shortlist, ranking them from 5th to 1st. Depending on what place a player is put by each journalist gets a certain amount of points. For example, a player put into first by a journalist receives 6 points. Placing second gives you 4 points, placing third gives you 3 points, placing fourth gives you 2 points, placing fifth gives you 1 point. If 2 or more players are tied on points, the number of first place votes they received is used as a tiebreaker. Okay, so now that we know how the Balon d'Or is, let's talk about this. Just a reminder, these are football journalists from around the world whose job is to watch football. There are 3 criteria for the journalists to vote on. Number 1 being individual and collective performances during the year. Second being player class, talent, and fair play also counts. And third and lastly is a player's career. For me, the last criteria is an issue. Why in the hell is a player's career put into the equation? Balon d'Or is an annual award given to a player's performance in a calendar year. So why is a player's career determined in it? We all know there have been many, and I mean many, horrible decisions of the Balon d'Or winner. Just to clear something up, I believe all the players that have ever been a winner or even in the list are all amazing players and professional. But there have been many, and I mean many times that in my eyes, as well as the eyes of the other people, they weren't the outstanding players of that year. Okay, y'all are probably wondering, why did I title this part Makes No Sense? Because it simply makes no sense. Because it's simply impossible for my eyes to see what French football settles for the winner. There's no pattern for it. I mean, for each year, it's always different on how they determine the winner. Don't believe me? Let me give you a couple examples. Before I start with this section, I want to mention a conspiracy theory for the Balon d'Or. Recently, a lot of people are winning based on their titles and trophies they won that year. Which, by the way, that's why Messi won this year, but we'll get into that later. Okay, now let's enter a time machine and reminisce about what happened in 2010 in the world of football. A Chelsea side with Ancelotti won the Premier League title on his first season in the last game of the season. We had Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan side pick up the treble. Not only that, but we also had Andres Iniesta's beautiful last minute goal to give Spain their first ever World Cup. So, who won the Balon d'Or that year? Surely a Spanish player, or maybe a player who wears blue, possibly a Chelsea player? Or an Inter Milan player? No, it was Lionel Messi. Leo freaking Messi. Let's dive in a little bit in the Balon d'Or of that year. This edition of the Balon d'Or had a 26-man shortlist, unlike the 30-man we have this year. The list is shown on the screen, but a couple players you may know include a 25-year-old Cristiano already at Real Madrid, or even World Cup's all-time top goal scorer, Miroslav Klose. So much talent is placed in such a small shortlist. So how did Messi win the Balon d'Or, or what did he do exactly that year? Messi won the Balon d'Or that year with 22% of the votes, but let's look at his stats. Messi played in the Pep Guardiola side who held one of the greatest eras in history. So what did Barcelona achieve that year? This, by the way, is the 09-10 season to prevent confusion. FC Barcelona won a total of 4 trophies that year. However, in my honest opinion, I would only consider 3 or maybe even 2 to be a major trophy. Barcelona took home that year's La Liga title, a major trophy, the Supercopa España, Spain's equivalent to the Community Shield, which, to be honest, isn't a major trophy. The UEFA Super Cup I would consider is a major trophy, taking the winner of the Champions League and the Europa League, but most of the time, the winner of the Champions League usually takes it home. And finally, the Club World Cup, which should be considered a major trophy, but if you take a look at the level from the European teams, compared with the rest of the world, it's not even close. It's really not hard to win it as long as you're European. You pretty much have 99% chance of winning the trophy. Since its inauguration in the year 2000, only 3 non-European teams have ever won it. Makes sense now. Okay, now that we saw what Barcelona achieved, what did Messi do? In La Liga, Lionel Messi played 33 games out of a possible 38, scoring 34 goals and assisting 10 assists in that year. Winning Spain's version of the Golden Boot, the Pichichi trophy, and only having less assists than his teammate Xavi with 14. Lionel Messi also picked up the top goal scorer award in the Champions League, beating fellow GOAT Cristiano and an Ivan Olic playing for Bayern, who made the final that year. A pretty good season for 23-year-old Messi, who had 60 goals in all competitions that year. So do I think, did Messi deserve the Balon d'Or that year? Maybe. Let's look at some other players that missed out. In second and third place, we have the dynamic duo in Xavi and Andres Iniesta, Messi's teammates. Let's take into account they all won the same awards for their team, right? Wrong. Xavi and Iniesta only had 1 more title than Lionel Messi. Which one, you may ask? Oh, don't worry, it's not a major trophy, just a World Cup, that's it. Let's also take into account that this was the first year that FIFA World Player of the Year was fused with the Balon d'Or. Not only that, but alongside the journalists were able to vote, but club captains and managers as well for the first time that year. Another fun fact, the last time a Balon d'Or was awarded in the year of a World Cup, the best player from the winning side of the World Cup won it. This was Fabio Cannavaro, leading his Italy side to the World Cup in 2006. Now surely this year would be the same because the Balon d'Or must be fair and follow a pattern, right? No, not at all. Iniesta got second place, but it's okay. I disagree with the best player at the World Cup being awarded the Balon D'Or because it just wouldn't be fair. Who knows, Jack Grealish can have a horrible club season but lead England to win the World Cup and win the Balon D'Or, right? Absolute nonsense.
Very false.
Okay, so like I stated before, recently, the most Balon D'Or winners have won because of the amount of trophies they won with their club. So let's do some simple math. Xavi and Iniesta and Messi all won 4 titles with Barcelona. So we had one for the non-important World Cup. So a common theory is the Balon D'Or is decided by titles won with club and country? No, apparently not. So should have Xavi or Iniesta won the Balon D'Or that year? Maybe, if it wasn't for this next player. Oh, Wesley Sneijder. Where do I start with you, bro? In 2010, where was Wesley Sneijder at? A 26-year-old Wesley Sneijder was playing for Inter Milan. What did he do that year? I mean, he only won a treble, and it's not like he was probably the best player that year in that Inter Milan side. So only taking his club form into account, where did that put him in the rankings? 4th. Only 4th? Really, FIFA? Riddle me this. What is the pinnacle in club football? Winning the title in a bang average league? Or I don't know, maybe winning a treble? Inter Milan in 2010 took part in 4 competitions, winning 3 of them and finishing runners-up in the Supercoppa Italia. Basically, another community shield. Okay, so winning 3 titles, he may not have won as much as the Barca trio, but the Balon d'Or is supposed to be about individual performances in a calendar year, right? If this doesn't convince you in Wesley's favor, maybe this will. Let's compare Messi and Wesley Sneijder on an international level that year. Okay, so both the Dutch and Argentinians won their groups with all 3 wins, considering, however, both groups were not really difficult. Going into the round of 16, Argentina beat a bang average Mexico, while the Dutch beat a Slovakia team only passed because Italy were in shambles that year. In the quarterfinals, Argentina were whipped by the Germans 4-0. However, no hate considering how good the German outfit have been throughout the years. On the other side of the spectrum, the Dutch beat a decent Brazil team who are transitioning to a newer generation around that time. After that, the Dutch went on to beat a Uruguay side in the semis who had a pretty tricky run, but only passing due to Suarez cheats. Obviously, we all know the infamous handball against Ghana, and then they ended up missing the penalty and Suarez celebrating in really controversial fashion, but anyways. And obviously in the final, we all know what happened. The Netherlands fell 1-0 to Andres Iniesta's magical goal with a very, very close call. But however, they lost to the team, the best national team around that time. Spain dominated from 2008 to 2012, winning every trophy possible in that run. But like I said, if it wasn't from a little bit of magic from Iniesta and a very, and I mean very close call, the Netherlands could have had another World Cup. Okay, now let's look at them at an individual level in the World Cup. Lionel Messi played a total of 5 games in the World Cup, scoring an outstanding 0 goals. However, 1 assist to his name, I mean, I guess it's something, bro. Okay, now let's look at some players that scored more than Messi, shall we? Matthew Upson. Matthew Upson scored a goal. Messi didn't. New Zealand's very fine Winston Reid. 3 South African players. 3. And worst of all, the bald fraud Michael Bradley. Now for a positive look, let's look at Wesley's stats. Well, Wesley, for starters, got 5 goals, tying with other players such as David Villa and Thomas Muller. 0 assists. To be fair to Messi, he did beat him in that. However, let's look at the important things if you guys don't think goals and assists are important. So like I said, Messi played 5 games, but Sneijder played 6 games, and out of those 6 games, he got 5 man of the matches. That's all I really gotta say, bro. 5 man of the matches in 6 games is absolutely outstanding in basically the biggest competition in the world. So you may be asking, what was this all for? What was this whole argument for? Well, this argument was to prove that apparently a player's individual season does not matter because although Messi and Sneijder had similarities, and I'm being nice here, saying Messi matched Sneijder's season, but Wesley outperformed Messi at the World Cup convincingly. One last thing I forgot to mention, I said this year was the first time club captains and managers can vote, right? So let's imagine, what if only the journalists were able to vote? So there was 2 polls put up at the end, obviously Messi winning with 22%, but if we took off all the managers and all the club captains, who won out of journalist votes? Wesley Sneijder did. Messi got a measly 4th place. So not only does the world of football know that Wesley Sneijder should have won the 2010 Balon d'Or, but even the journalists voted. Case closed. Okay, so 2014 and 2016. In this section, I won't bring any club victories, any club titles, any nation titles, any title victories. I want to talk about another theory that the Balon d'Or has been basically, I guess, people have considered that determined the Balon d'Or winning. So there are 2 theories in this section that contradict each other. So people often bring up into arguments whether goals determine Balon d'Or or not. So I'm going to prove to you that none of this matters either. So first, we are taking 2014 into account. And just to say, I am not including performances or trophies. Again, just pure goals to present these next 2 arguments. This situation is that goals do determine a Balon d'Or winner. So the winner of the Balon d'Or was Cristiano Ronaldo in 2014. He scored a total of 38 goals, being the poacher of 2014 that year. Plain and simple, let's move on. Okay, so let's take a look at the year of 2016 now. So obviously now we're taking a look at the situation that even if you score the most goals in a year, you're not going to win it. So in the year 2016, Luis Suarez picked up the most goals in the calendar year. 37 goals to his name according to Transfer Market. Just remember this, the calendar year. I'm not talking about the European Golden Shoe that is awarded by the end of each season. The person who won the Balon d'Or that year was none other than CR7. How many goals did Cristiano score that year? 31, 6 behind Luis Suarez. Just remember, I'm not saying Luis Suarez should have won that year. I'm just presenting the arguments of theories shown in the past. So that year, Luis Suarez finished in 4th place in the rankings, topped by Cristiano and his 2 fellow MSN teammates, Messi and Neymar. So we have taken 2 situations and compared them, one where the player that scored the most goals in a year won it, and another that didn't. So as you can see, the inconsistent pattern continues, that there is something more than just trophies, goals, and individual performances. 2018, the moment we have been waiting for since 2007. For a player to finally trump Cristiano and Messi of the Balon D'Or. So, who is it gonna be? Can it be French duo Kylian Mbappe or Raphael Varane, who won the World Cup with France? Kevin De Bruyne, who had an unplayable season at Man City as they won the league title? Or maybe an underground shout like Griezmann, who won the World Cup, the Europa League, the Silver Boot in the World Cup, and the Bronze Ball as well in the World Cup? Well, guess what? It was none of the 3. The 2018 Balon D'Or was presented to Luka Modric. Okay, look, this is a very difficult decision to make and go against Modric, but I believe that he shouldn't have won it that year. But Edgar, you have been saying goals don't matter, trophies don't matter. What is it this time? I will tell you. Okay, so Luka Modric, if you're watching this, you are one of my favorite players of all time. You have been blessed with such a talent and played beautifully. You even had a comeback story, which are my favorite kind of stories. But I'm sorry, my Croatian friend, you shouldn't have won it that year. Okay, moving on to the next 3 is another argument, which is the Balon D'Or based on popularity? And my answer to that is yes, but at the same time, it's not. Confused? Let me explain. For years, I had believed that the Balon D'Or was decided on popularity. That's why the likes of Manuel Neuer, Frank Ribery, and Wesley Sneijder missed out in the past. Okay, before I explain myself in the theory, let's look at Modric in 2018. Let's look at the checklist we have made so far in the past arguments in this video. Luka Modric scored the most goals in a year? No. Did he get the most trophies in a year? He tied with someone. Best individual performances in the whole year? Probably not. Okay, so that is a little criteria I made up, but to be honest, none of that matters because that's what I'm saying. But let's look into it a little bit more. Modric in 2018 in all competitions scored a total of 2 goals and had 8 assists. But considering he's a midfielder, a lot of you may come at me. This was around the time I was a little bit older, not as young as I am. I'm currently 19, so around that time I was around 15. So I watched a lot of La Liga that year, especially Real Madrid, considering I'm a Cristiano fan. And obviously, I also did some research for this video. If not, I wouldn't be posting it. But Modric, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many people, had a pretty regular season like he usually does. Obviously, I'm talking about his club form. Okay, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think we all know why Modric was included into this debate of the Balon d'Or in 2018. That was because of the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Lots of respect to Modric, who had an amazing 7 games, captaining an unlikely Croatia into a final. But is the Balon d'Or really determined by 7 games? Obviously not. There's really not much left to say about Modric other than having a masterclass at the World Cup. But that's pretty much it about Luka Modric. Let's move on to the 4 players below him. We have Cristiano, Messi, Mbappe, and Griezmann. I'm only going to cover Cristiano and Messi because, like, you guys, there's no need to mention Griezmann and Mbappe. They had really good seasons, but not as good as these other 2. Reminder, like I said, all of these players are amazing in my opinion. However, the Balon d'Or should be given to individual performances, not goals and trophies, and etc. Let's start off with Mr. CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. So Real Madrid won the Champions League that year, meaning Modric and Cristiano had the same amount of trophies that year. Cristiano put up 44 goals and 8 assists in 44 games. So Cristiano put up the same number of assists and scored 12 times more goals than Modric. But like I said, Modric is a midfielder. CR7's World Cup run was only 4 games. However, he did score a hat-trick against Spain, and we all know how hard it is to score a hat-trick in the biggest stage in the world. So if we compare the 2, who was more important and who had the best individual performances in that year, in my opinion, it has to be Cristiano. However, Modric wasn't the only robbery that year. Another robbery took place in that year's Balon d'Or rankings, and yes boys, it is Lionel Messi finishing in 5th place. Why did Messi get 5th place in the Balon d'Or rankings? Bro, I don't even know. Messi played 54 games in club football and scored 45 goals while assisting 18. On the basis of output, Messi outperformed the 4 people above him, barely outscoring Cristiano, and Mbappe and Griezmann couldn't even get more than 30. So what let Messi down that year? Possibly not winning the Champions League, or maybe even the World Cup? Yeah, that's definitely true. It's because he didn't win any of those. But explain to me why in 2010 he won the Balon d'Or when Spain won the World Cup and Inter Milan won the treble, meaning the Champions League, and he didn't win anything but a league title. This is what I mean by an inconsistent pattern. So my reason on why I think Modric won it is because of popularity, but at the same time it's not. The bandwagon effect refers to the tendency that people have to adopt a certain behavioral, style, or attitude simply because everyone else is doing so. So everyone was obviously tired for some weird reason that the 2 best players in history win this prize instead of enjoying them. So everyone said, let's start a hype train to see if anyone else can win the Balon d'Or. In that case, it was Luka Modric. So the world began to talk about how Modric should win the Balon d'Or, and the journalists were convinced. Popularity, but at the same time, Modric isn't even the most popular player in the whole list. Probably not even in the top 5. So this is what I mean, it's a popularity contest, but at the same time it's not. This year was another example proving that there is no pattern in this corrupt award. Alright, something a little recent. 2020, the year of hell. The year the whole world was forced to sit in their houses and do nothing. My favorite year. Just to quickly note, the 2019 Balon d'Or was won by Messi instead of Van Dijk, where the world again tried to make Van Dijk a popular option, but this time they failed, and I think Messi did deserve to win that Balon d'Or. Okay, now 2020, we all know the clear winner, right? This year was the one year that there was no debate. One person should have received the Balon d'Or. Robert Lewandowski. There isn't too much to cover on his stats because the world came into agreement on why he should win it. I will say a couple quick words: treble, top goal scorer, in all 3 competitions. No arguments there. So what happened this year? Why is there no Balon d'Or winner for 2020 at the moment? 2 simple words: jealousy and corruption. If you somehow just started watching football, let me run you through what happened. So the Balon d'Or was cancelled because, according to France Football, because of COVID-19. They said it would be unfair due to the stall of the football matches in the calendar, as well as some leagues getting cancelled. So the question is, whose league got cancelled? Who didn't finish their season? So one of them was the ADROIIIT. I want you guys to tell me one player that would have won the Balon d'Or that year from the ADROIIIT. Anyone? I don't think so. Secondly, and lastly, the Farmers, League 1. What a coincidence. French Football won the Balon d'Or and the French League got cancelled that year? Very suspicious. League 1 Uber Eats was cancelled with 11 games remaining to play. Taking a look at the players who play in that league, who would have won the Balon d'Or? Kylian Mbappe? Maybe. More realistically, maybe even top 5. Neymar? Neymar. No. So one player out of many players in that league maybe had a chance of being in top 5. Just maybe. This is why it was cancelled. Mbappe was the only decent shout on maybe winning the Balon d'Or, but every other league finished their season. If League 1 cancelled their league, why didn't PSG step out of the Champions League? Huh? Why? I guarantee you, if PSG would have won the Champions League, the Balon d'Or would have been awarded to Neymar or something. Absolute robbery. Now for the moment you all have been waiting for, 2021, the year of the second robbery. Before I start, I have absolutely no issue with Messi winning the trophy. I just feel, just by a little bit, Lewandowski should have won it this year. Leave down below who you think should have won it this year. If was Messi alright to win it, or should have Lewandowski won it? Okay, let's compare them. Lionel Messi played 56 games, scoring 41 goals and assisting 17, while winning the Copa del Rey and the ever-elusive international trophy. While Robert Lewandowski played 54 games, 2 fewer than Messi, scoring 64 goals and assisting 9, winning the Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal. So did goals matter this year? Absolutely not. So how about trophies then? Was the Balon d'Or decided this year by trophies? Well, the top 3 players in the rankings, Jorginho, Lewandowski, and Messi, all tied. They each won 2 trophies, but Jorginho being the outstanding winner, with obviously winning the Champions League and Euros, more important competitions. With them 3 tiny trophies, obviously this award was not given to the player with the most significant trophies. Moving on to individual performances, it's never been so competitive this year. Lewandowski putting up a masterclass in every game, Lionel Messi as well, carrying a horrid Barcelona side and a new generation of Argentinians. So this year, UEFA brought back what they did in 2018, in my opinion. The Balon d'Or this year was decided by an international tournament, and in my opinion, the least impressive international tournament that happened this year. Like I stated before, I love Messi, no hate towards him, and I'm so glad he got his international trophy. But there were 2 examples this year of why there was international bias. Jorginho got 3rd place. Let that sink in. No disrespect to Jorginho, an amazing player, but tell me, was he really that important? Let's take both the Chelsea and Italian sides. Without Jorginho, they would have probably won the trophies, most likely. I believe that Chelsea and Italy winning their respective trophies both were mainly team performances, rather than Jorginho's masterclasses. This is without taking away his good form this season. However, if Jorginho did not take part, Chelsea had Kovacic, who could probably basically do the exact same job, and Verratti, who was only in the bench due to his injuries and Jorginho's performances. At this point, if you're putting Jorginho in 3rd place, might as well give the Balon d'Or to Tuchel. Jorginho, in my opinion, is just a system player. He works well in a certain system. If you try to put him in another system, he just won't work out. However, like I said, he's a world-class player. He's an amazing player. Shout out to him. Another reason why I believe Lewandowski wasn't the winner of the Balon d'Or is because the journalists got it wrong. In my mind, I believe the journalists were like, oh, Lewandowski has a world-class team around him. Okay, yeah, I do agree with them on that. However, when was that thinking? When Lionel Messi won the Balon d'Or in 2010 and Barcelona obviously had probably the best team in the world. Like I said, and for the final time, there is no consistent pattern, bro. This is just absolute corruption. Like I said, I don't mind too much that Lewa didn't win this year, although I think he deserves it and should at least have 2020, so France Football, please give it to him. However, this definitely wasn't the biggest robbery in the Balon d'Or history. 2018, 2010, and 2013 were much worse. Won't you come over? So, what does the future hold for the Balon d'Or awards and basically any individual awards now? The Balon d'Or has set a horrible example for other individual awards, and I hope no other awards are affected by this. I hope that French football get their minds together and actually reward the player who had the best individual season. Because at this point, there's really no criteria for what a player must do to win the Balon d'Or. Who knows, maybe even next year, Pedri will win the Balon d'Or or something, I don't know. But anyways, that concludes this video on why I believe the Balon D'Or is the most corrupt award in football history, and a little bit about why Lewandowski deserves to have 2 out of 0 of these awards. And like I said before, the future of this award is very unknown due to its many corruptions, and obviously the 2 GOATs, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, retiring really soon. This is my first ever video essay. I had another one planned, but today's ceremony really got me thinking, and I wrote this in a day. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to click that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to get notified anytime we do post. Welcome to the new viewers. If you guys were intrigued by this video, welcome. Like I said, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers here in this channel. ADROIIIT is the hashtag that are being left in the comments as well on top of my videos, so make it happen by the end of the year. Make sure to always do the things that you love, the things that make you happy, and just be yourself, man. It's been your boy Joy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day, and chamos.